You're scared. Good to know.
Now I'm angry.
Fine. You're scared. Good to know.
Now I'm angry.
Fine.
Your emperor shall return.
Good afternoon, Aquinas Saints. It is I, William Donat Wolf, joined once again by my co-caster, Tommy Tybro Gale II. How you doing, bud?
We are doing just fine. Another night for esports. VKVL, I couldn't agree more. It is more of a good evening rather than a good afternoon. But
Hey, some people like to stay up a little later.
very fair, very fair. We have just finished our pro draft. There was a few misclicks, it appears, in the original lobby, so it took us a little bit longer to get into this Champ Select. Also in regards to the Rocket League match, there was a small confusion on time between both teams in the officiating body. So that match is happening as we speak on Boise State's Twitch channel.
Yep, so if you are here missing your regularly scheduled Rocket League, please head on over there and show your AQ Saints some love and support.
Or stay with us for some League of Legends.
Or have both open.
Oh,
you can do that. You
that
can do
is an option.
like almost like squad streams. You
That
can have
is-
two windows open and
that is an
participate
option.
in both chats.
I think it's an excellent choice.
Uh-huh.
Best of both worlds.
And if you only got one monitor, use your phone.
But yeah, it's a big game for both our League of Legends team in addition to our Rocket League team. Our Rocket League team has been making waves in the Rocket League world. The first last week they took one game from Mizzo, the first game that they've dropped all year. So our Aquinas team is definitely making waves, definitely turning heads in their inaugural year.
Mm-hmm. A good showcase of the talent coming through from the AQ Esports program. Very promising start for AQ.
Definitely. And tonight's match for League of Legends is a best of one, if I do recall.
Yep, that is correct. We have our AQ Saints there on red side. Renekton, Elise, Kiana, Zaya, Thresh versus Michigan Tech University on the Malphite, Nocturne, Kale, Kaisa, and Blitzcrank.
Very interesting picks, I would say. I didn't expect a Blitzcrank.
Yeah, they did ban out the Nautilus, if I remember correctly.
They did.
They were doing their best to make sure that there wasn't another frontline tank who could get a free engage. Jay Freeze on the Thresh. Been looking fantastic with the Thresh and Morgana support lately and putting very many fantastic games. We do have a Predator Malphite this game. Very interesting as we are loading in here. We may have a pause here. There might be an issue with Malphite's runes, maybe? Maybe he is reconsidering. Oh, are we in game officially? It looks like the timer is ticking and people are spawning. We will get the scoreboard and objective timers up so we can keep an eye on those. Awesome here. Never mind, the Predator Malphite is in fact staying.
With that Predator, I'm thinking that he might attempt to go more of an AP route, or possibly just that is just an avenue to close down on Aquinas in a much faster fashion.
Now, I do know, and I have played personally now 2 games of it because I think it's very entertaining, but Predator Malphite Jungle, and you take Presence of Mind with Precision in your secondary tree, so you literally will just run and then explode them. A very interesting idea here. If it is AP, it's possible that John could have the potential to early gank this with Elise and get that lead that he would need to make sure Malphite stays a little more behind in this game. An AP Malphite is an explosive Malphite.
I am excited to see Blue Jay on Elise this game. I've seen him play a little bit of it, and Elise, she can put out a very large amount of damage. Her combo with the cocoon, she is basically an assassin.
We do have a very heavy AD team comp on the side of AQ here, but Elise, like you were saying, does have massive amounts of damage, and she does favor going that Leandri style build, getting that ramped up 2%, a max of 10% amplified damage with it. So we will have to keep an eye on that. We do have Klepto Kale here, and she does have a money bag within her inventory. So we will have to see either she's a gambler or she's a seller. Depends if she keeps it or not and for how long. We do have the Blitzcrank Rocket Grab going early here on Fate's Call and him getting poked out. The Kaisa passive almost being reached to full 5 for that poke damage.
Could you go into a little bit more detail for the viewers what the Kaisa passive is?
So Kaisa's passive, and if some of you have been longer term fans, we do have a quick skirmish here in top lane. The Malphite damage absolutely destroying Renekton's health bar there. But with Kaisa's passive, if you remember a champion like Vayne, there's certain champs that exist within League of Legends that when they attack a champion a certain amount of times with Kaisa 5 and with Vayne 3, they will have an explosive amount of damage applied toward that target's health. So with Vayne, hers does true damage, and with Kaisa, hers is magic damage. Another skirmish here. It's John going in with the EQ. Does get the solo kill on to Malphite. Malphite not blowing his flash. The Conqueror there, proccing near the second end of Slice and Dice. A very, very nice early pickup kill here. The death sentence there not connecting with any minion or foe there. But the rocket grab does land on Fate's Call, and he does have to blow his flash. Flay going through, knocking back. There's snare onto Kaisa. The ignite blown. Kaisa uses both heal and flash. The 80 carry here does not have either sums, while Fate's Call does in fact still have his heal. Or kind of an early game of lane personal skirmishes. It's almost like there's a vendetta in each lane here.
Definitely so. With the pickup from It's John on Renekton, an excellent early game pickup, picking up a Kindle Gem, which is going to allow him to take a step away from this Renekton.
We do have the Flash Cocoon here landing. Keelan did land the Water Element. That is a kill picked up for Keelan here in the mid lane onto Kale. Kale does have the teleport. Did use her flash there after being ignited. That is going to be 3 sums used on AQ side, and the teleport now coming out for Kale on this mid lane. Did not use the sack of gold though.
Oh, she could use it when she was in base. Very interesting move, but that was
Did pick up the double longsword.
That was a beautiful execution from the two brothers.
We will have to see how this game progresses. Like we said, AQ has a very heavy AD team comp. And then on the opposing side, a good mixed amount of damage here. John going back in, landing the W. Conqueror is procced already. We do have the Cocoon landing onto Nocturne Death Sentence, followed up by the Flay. A kill delivered now on to Jay's Elise, and even though this is our first time seeing it on a live screen here, we have Rocket Grab landing on Thresh, the Kaisa Q, the Cathian Rain landing almost all shots onto Thresh. We do have the snare following through, though, on Kaisa. The Cocoon does land on Kaisa, and that is going to be a kill delivered over now to the 80 carry of Aquinas. Kind of running it into them right now is what Michigan Tech is doing, giving free kills here across the lane. Every damage carry on AQ now does have a 1 kill lead over their opponent. And we do have John now skirmishing with this Malphite, who's used all 3 uses of that corrupting potion.
Just some beautiful execution overall from the Aquinas.
Massive damage there coming out from Keelan, following up with the water element into the wall for that execute damage when below, I believe it's 50% HP. Very good there. Gonna have to be very careful. Rocket Grab does land onto Fate's Call there. Nocturne is within river. We do have Jay Freeze coming through. Lantern is thrown, and Fate's Call is brought to safety. Does have the coal there, so we'll be looking to farm this game. We do have the level 6 going on to Kale now. That does give her the upgraded passive, giving her ranged auto attacks now. Going to be a little rough for Keelan's Kiana here now. But if he's fortunate and plans his CC accordingly, he can easily take this lane over, as Kale is a late game scaling champion. Rocket Grab does land onto Jay Freeze, gets ignited. The Kaisa passes just go off. Kaisa is tanking turret though. They do get a plate, but Kaisa is now poked out. We have a gank here in top lane. We do have the Cocoon and the stun followed up there. It's John does roll out of there, and that is now 2 kills onto the Elise. We talked earlier about Elise's massive damage impact in these games, and if the ball keeps rolling like this, that's going to be an unstoppable snowball.
Elise will be dealing out more damage than Michigan Tech could handle. An excellent overall display of skill coming from Aquinas. I couldn't think of anything better that they could do right now.
A little curious here, as we did talk about the AP Malphite. Malphite's not going to have any survivability against a Renekton Elise when under turret. I mean, he already was brought down right there with both of them running away. The Flash E coming out from Blitzcrank there, the knock-up. Keelan does land the snare on both, but that is the support on Michigan Tech's Blitzcrank being used for that Kale pick-up kill. The hook does land there on Kaisa. The Blade Caller pullback. Jay Freeze did have the Ignite ticking, does take tower aggro, as we do have 3 members of Michigan Tech here in mid lane getting plates and trying to accelerate this Kale's gameplay here.
As we did see there, right when Kaisa was going off screen, she did use her heal to survive the little skirmish in bot lane, so we did not see her go down.
John kind of playing with fire right there, taking a lot of damage from that Malphite while under turret. Malphite did not have ultimate, but he does need to be careful as that timer is coming back up soon. We are seeing pings coming out from the side of AQ on the red and the blue buff. They are going to do their best probably from this point forward to get vision and start tracking Nocturne, as they expect him to be level 6, pulling down the darkness and aiding in any ganks that can just, not be seen or teleported on when it comes to that darkness dropping.
In regards to top lane, Malphite has already bought himself 2 amplifying tomes. And like you said earlier, surviving might be very hard, because we do see John rushing Spear of Sojin.
Nocturne not even paying attention to the fact that there is an Elise in his back pocket. The ultimate from Malphite does come out, though. That is ultimate drop from Nocturne. Explosive damage from the Malphite and the Kale there. Jay having to use his flash to get away. Does get pulled, though. The extra pull damage from Blitzcrank. I don't think Jay expected the pull to be that far.
He was trying to land on Boomstroom and bring him to safety, but unfortunately he wasn't quick enough, and that new buff to Blitzcrank gave him just that extra range to pull him right back and give an advantage to Michigan Tech.
John already having 4 plates taken, though, on this top lane, bullying this Malphite up by 23 CS, rushing the Spear of Shojin here. For the top side of the map, looking fairly well. Malphite did pick up a kill as well as Kale, and then Blitzcrank got the shutdown on the Elise there. Does get the empowered W off the fantastic enhanced auto attack stun coming from Renekton there, getting poke on. We do have the Malphite with the Lost Chapter. The hook does land onto Fate's Call. They are looking ill prepared. Does not take the Lantern, looking to fight this, but does get killed by Kaisa there.
There was a successful use of Hex Flash from Blitzcrank, which you typically don't see. Most of the time, I would say, I myself do not see Hex Flash used in many of the games that I take part in.
We do have 3 members of AQ down here in the bot lane looking to finish off this Blitzcrank kill, passing it over to Keelan. They did get a return kill as well as taking the Earth Dragon. Now this game is about a medium-paced game compared to last night's games. We had a very accelerated game 1 and a very slowed down game 2. John is putting the hurt down onto this Malphite, and that Earth Drake will help him take this turret down. We do have Kale roaming up top, though, with Nocturne. We have 3v1 here. Getting slowed now. He's going to use... flashing away from the Malphite ultimate, popping his own ultimate, trying to do his best to heal. He is not going to live from that, unfortunately. A very close endeavor there from It's John on the Renekton. We do have the Kiana ultimate coming out, stunning up the Kale, executing Kale there before she can even drop the invincibility.
We did see John get a little bit too confident up top lane. He knew that he has the damage to take out Malphite, given that he is not too tanky at this moment in time, but overstayed his welcome, and it led to his unfortunate demise.
This Blitzcrank is using Hex Flash across the map. We do have Nocturne ultimate coming through here. The knockup followed through. Stopwatch, that is with the inspiration runes from Kiana. They do successfully keep Keelan alive. And we do have the Kaisa here going through with the ultimate past Zaya. We're going to have to be very careful here with Fate's Call. does get the Q out and auto attack along with the feather call back to get the kill. They got first turret and they got a kill with it.
An excellent gold boost for the Saints. Hope to see Fate's Call take this gold that he has and just be able to run away with this game. He did pick up a coal, so he does look like he was focusing on farming. But I can't blame him because I myself would also be scared of this Blitzcrank.
This Blitzcrank showing a lot of pressure. 2 turrets taken pre-14 minutes. That's 10 plates now for the side of AQ. That is a lot of gold value coming out here. We do have on the side of Michigan Tech, they have taken 2 top, 1 bot, and if I remember correctly, that is 3 in the mid lane. Yep.
We do see close to a 3,000 gold difference in favor of the Saints.
The rocket grab landing onto Thresh there. He does get the flay, throwing the lantern for Elise there. Gonna see the hook missing, unfortunately, on the Kale or the Blitzcrank. We did Malphite over the wall. The Kiana ultimate does land, the true display of talent, landing on 2 members there. Rocket grab picking up another member of AQ here. Massive damage, though, coming out from the Blade Caller. Unfortunately, that is 2 lost on the side of AQ, 1 on the side of Michigan. But they are going to take another turret mid, and we are going to see assistance pings looking around this Rift Herald. Plates are falling off in 30 seconds. Kaisa bot lane doing her best to get as much gold influx as she can to accelerate her build path. Did go the Stormrazor is not looking to get the hyper scaling Manamune build.
In regards to if this game does go to late game, I think we'll see Malphite doing his best to try to get into the backline and Fate's Call Kiana and possibly even Elise, but she might find herself more towards the front line. But nonetheless, he will try to make his way into the backline and one-hit the carries. But I feel with that, we might have to see It's John on Renekton fight his way into the backline to negate the effects of this AP Malphite.
If I remember correctly, this Kale build, one very popular and started from Korea. Very AP heavy focused, and with that, Rocket Grab just barely missing Jay Freeze there. But with that build, the ultimate from Kale along with Malphite will mean he will not take any damage, and they will have 2 explosive teamfight AoE drop down abilities absolutely deploy so much damage on the squad. Whereas AQ is going to be very worried about that. They do have safety when it comes to their carries and their mobility, but they're going to need to look for picks, not team fights.
Fate's Call is definitely going to have to rely on his mechanics in addition to well timing his ultimate. If he's able to ult right before Unstoppable comes in from Malphite, he will find himself in a much safer place.
Very much so. We do have the Rift Herald picked up onto It's John, so he does have the enhanced recall. They do have the map very opened up for themselves here with each tier 1 turret down.
We did see Aquinas take a huge lead in the beginning, starting up 4-0, 5-0. But as we see, Michigan Tech has made their way back from the depths and are making AQ work for this 15-minute game so far.
We do see AQ here picking up the Ocean Dragon, getting that passive mana and health regen. Very good pickup there. Very smart not to give to Michigan Tech University. The Cocoon is missing there to connect. The Death Sentence does miss as well, but the Void Seeker from Kaisa does land. Kaisa picking up the pickaxe here, and a minion being pulled there. Flash Cocoon landing on to Blitzcrank. The ultimate coming out from Kale. We do have a 4-man Malphite ultimate, followed up a massive stun, but Keelan does have the damage and executes too, taking Nocturne as well as Malphite's life, doing his best to get over the edge. This Kaisa, though, is following up and does get the ace. AQ there getting caught out, unfortunately, by the Wombo combo of Malphite and then Nocturne dive in. Very explosive damage from Michigan Tech University here. Very unfortunate.
That was a very unfortunate fight on the side of Aquinas. They did find themselves very grouped, which gave that Malphite an excellent opportunity to definitely deal out some damage, and then allowed Michigan Tech to put out an absolute wombo of a combo.
They thought they could go aggressive on the Blitzcrank, and they got the Kale Ultimate out, but they did not remember not to stack up. Truly a detrimental play / team fight there. Like I said, with this AQ team comp, they're going to want to look for those picks rather than those front-to-back team fights. They're going to get caught out way more often. We do have John here doing his best to initiate a fight onto this Malphite. He does have Rift Herald, though. He's going to need to be dropping that soon, if I remember correctly on the timer. Yep, very close. We do have Keelan going in, trying to fight the Kai'Sa down here in bot lane. Ultimate coming through for the Nocturne. The Herald does drop. Malphite just barely missing Renekton there. A picked up kill from Xayah in mid lane, running from the Kale. This is a scattered fight, but AQ is taking it from hard-learned mechanics alone. This is a spread-out Michigan tech right now, and it might be a very early inhibitor turret for AQ.
An 18-minute inhibitor turret. You typically don't see those in just most matches overall. This is a very interesting game. Definitely in the sway of the Saints at the beginning, but then they seem to have some trouble in this mild mid-game transition. And Michigan Tech is definitely using strides against the Saints. Very interesting game. I'm not sure what's going to happen next.
Very interesting indeed. We do have that open exposed inhib top. John's teleport is coming off of cooldown shortly. Blitzcrank does have a shutdown on himself. And now we're just going to have to see the ultimate used by Malphite, Unstoppable, landing onto Thresh. Keelan using the ultimate to snare up 3 members through the river buff, and Kale ultimate is dropped. And that is going to be AQ backing away from the fight, trying to be safe, but Fate's Call getting caught out. Flash E used by the Blitzcrank there. Repel used by Elise, but will be caught out afterwards, landing with the Nocturne Fear. That was kind of unfortunate. They looked a little blind there. Keelan gets caught out. It's John being pulled by the Blitzcrank here, doing his best to heal and sustain himself in the middle of 5. But that is 4 members down for AQ. They cannot handle these team fights.
This Blitzcrank is definitely proving to be a menace to the Aquinas Saints. He, from my count, hasn't missed too many of his pulls, especially when it comes to these larger team skirmishes. He's able to pull one individual and then fight with the rest of his team, and then right when someone else is fleeing from the Saints, he picks up another one. So this Blitzcrank is definitely proving to be a menace to Aquinas, and they're definitely going to have to watch out for him.
Alright. Apologies, was dealing with those notifications that I believe some of you may have heard. It looks like we do have a Michigan Tech supporter here. Welcome to the AQ Esports stream. Looking like an explosive and interesting game so far between the two teams. Excited to see no matter which way it goes. This Kale, though, is getting stacked. 15 out of 16 kills there for participation. That is very good. The Cocoon landing onto Jay there. Looking like a 3-man Malphite ultimate followed up by Kale. Explosive here. That is a teleport from It's John in the middle of a fight there. AQ is looking a little out of order right now.
They were able to put the smackdown on this Malphite right in the beginning of the game because he wasn't too tanky, but now when these skirmishes unfold, he's able just to hit R, do lots of damage, and then get an incredible follow-up from their team. And it looks like Michigan Tech looking to do Baron right now.
Yeah, Blitzcrank following through again with that incredible W. Does get the pull onto Keelan. Does not get the knockup, however. Kale right there for the damage assistance. But we do have Kai'Sa Nocturne onto Baron. Both members here are very squishy. We do have a ward here on the Baron pit. Nocturne using Smite early on. That actually might be very detrimental if Elise can get there in time. But they do now have 4 members here. Nocturne getting executed. Jay using his flash, though, and getting exploded by Kale. Pulled over the wall. This is a messy game from both sides right now.
Michigan Tech running away with a Baron and a 6K gold lead, coming back with the number of turrets.
Keelan looking to execute here on the Kaisa, trying to play happy feet. Kaisa flashes in front of the Kiana into the ultimate display of talent. It's John here, does follow up, has the stun. Keelan doing his best to play as far and safe away from this explosive damage. Kale with 25 Magi stacks at 22 minutes. Fate's Call does pick up the second Ocean Drag for AQ. They're going to need to play safe and get those picks. They keep having awkward team fights and getting picked out maybe in pairs or doubles. We do have Blitzcrank abusing Fate's Call with this Hex Flash.
We do see this Blitzcrank has actually picked up 6 kills. He finds himself to be 6-1-12. Absolutely running away with some stats in this game.
Very fascinating game. Very interesting plays for coming out of Michigan Tech here. This Blitzcrank showcasing how useful it is to take Hex Flash. Like, if used properly and efficiently, will net so many kills for your team. Anytime the camera looks over onto Blitzcrank, he is channeling a flash and making a play for his team. Very good showcase of skill there. This is a very unfortunate game for the Saints. John trying to fight against Kale, getting about an even trade. The Sterix does pop, though. Gonna be down here for a little while.
Definitely an unfortunate trade for It's John. Hoping just to go in, poke out Kale, have her back off of his turret. But unfortunately, she pops Sterix, and that's going to be really big if we get ourselves into a team fight here.
We do have Kale with the Hextech Gunblade, giving her the sustain she needs to stay in lane versus the Renekton. And she is also 3 levels up on John here.
And in the next coming level, when she hits level 16, she starts to do true damage, I believe, with her passive. So she's definitely going to be even more of a menace than she already is.
Yep. We do have Malphite here trying to use the Unstoppable to instantly execute Keelan there. But going back to that Kale, when she hits 16, that is when she effectively has a true damage range Titanic Hydra.
For the viewers, could you define true damage?
So true damage is damage that will ignore armor and magic resist. It is seen as white text, whereas physical is shown as orange and will be reduced with armor. And then ability power or AP damage or magic damage is showcased in a lighter blue and will be blocked by magic resist. True damage will ignore either resistance of armor or magic and will just go right through to the health bar.
So no matter how tanky John will find himself, he will still be chunked down by this Kale because of that true damage.
Death Sentence does land on the Blitzcrank here. Jay Freeze does roll in, having to use the flash. Fate's Call is very low right now.
A respective attempt at a pick from Jay Freeze, but I think following up the Lantern was not the greatest idea given that they are really behind in this game right now. Michigan Tech seems to be running away with it.
Michigan Tech does have a 10k gold lead. A little rough right now around the edges for AQ. Michigan Tech, though, even with the skirmishes that happened in the early game, did not become tilted from it, and they have been playing a very proactive game here for them. They have the Malphite Go button along with the now heavily scaled up Kale. 21 of 23 kills for Kale. She's a very high kill percentage. We do see Infernal Drake coming up in 80 seconds now. A huge power spike will come through from Infernal Drake for either team. Although for AQ, with their bot lane exposed as it is and the 5 members of Michigan Tech roaming down, it is looking like they're going to have more pressure and will be able to easily take this Infernal Drake, giving even more damage onto the Malphite and the Kale. And then it just gives Kaisa more time to scale up. Blitzcrank is waiting here by Chickens. Does get the pull on Keelan. Instantly explodes from Kale Q. Nocturne ulting in along with the Kale ultimate. This is a freely contested, just a free pickup of kills on the side of Michigan Tech. AQ having to run away, tail between their legs, unfortunately.
We see that Turbo Smurf Akali on Kale actually has 5 levels up on Blue Jay. Blue Jay found himself really ahead in the early game, but with this Blitzcrank and the assassination coming from the overall team comp from Michigan Tech, he's found himself to get hit behind.
John getting pulled by the rocket grab there. Ultimate coming through from Blitzcrank does take the Sterix away from John. Kale flashing over on the side, almost immediately exploding Elise. Their rocket grab landing onto Renekton. Their Malphite ultimate hitting 3 up top. Kiana ultimate does land onto Blitzcrank and Nocturne. Kaisa picking up the Infernal Drake. This is a 4v5 and AQ can't handle it.
This is going to be game, folks.
This is indeed looking to be game here. A very well played game coming out of Michigan Tech here tonight. An unfortunate bloody loss for the AQ Saints.
Very dominant from Michigan Tech. Aquinas did find themselves up 4-0, maybe even 5-0 at the very beginning, but from the picks that Michigan Tech was able to produce, they just swept it right under their feet.
Very unfortunate here. We'll pull up. Let's see if we can get the gold graph here. We'll just use this. Kale did have a massive gold lead in this game. Klepto Kale had an insane amount of resources put into her. Blitzcrank along with that. Total damage dealt to champions. Kale at 38k. No one even scratching close. Malphite was at half. Very, very intense and just absolutely crazy statistics coming out from Michigan Tech here. It was a rough game, and Sparky, I agree with you. It was a good game, though. Michigan Tech played very well, and AQ will have a lot to reflect on after this game.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Like we said, though, this is just a best-of-1 series, so the match set will go to Michigan Tech for the night. Thank you, everybody, for watching and joining with us this evening. I hope you all have a great Friday, and we will see you on Saturday. Tommy, got anything else to say to the people?
Thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time.
Yep, don't forget to also check out our social media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with our Aquinas esports program. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.